wonder
Comanche
how,
here.
like,
How about
the
those rockets? Unloading rockets.
helicopter has that command button to fire
Air
its
cover's on
rockets,
the way.
and, you know, like
Always
the Ranger
prepared.
has
Grabbing
its
a
two choices
flashbang.
in weapons, and the non-showing nuke cannon has the two weapon choices. Did you ever wonder why jets don't have
Supersonic
two weapon
aircraft.
choices? I'm Jaguar, and in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to add multiple weapons to the weapon sets for your units, including jets, which are the peculiar
Radar
ones
won't
because
pick
they
us
like
up.
to idle. So, essentially, first step is choose your second and third weapon. Um, Second step is you need to put specific command buttons on the actual command set for the unit, and then obviously you choose the actual which one you want to shoot, and then fire. And so, what does that look like? Oh, it looks delicious. Let's start with a more familiar one. So we are going to jump in to the GLA Scud. That is probably the easiest way to understand this because it is already part of the game and you've probably used the unit a billion times by now. So, as I'm sure you're really familiar with when it comes to the Scud, it has the explosive version and the toxic version. So, as you can see in the weapon set, this is the initial weapon set as it has the conditions of none as compared to the upgrade version. That's why it goes to Anthrax versus Toxin. And it has this auto choose. And while I personally do not know what much of this means, I know that you'll need this specifically on the primary one. So if you were to put a tertiary, you would do the same thing, put auto sources, tertiary, and then from script, from AI, leave the default switch weapon to the primary because that's where it starts. And then the preferred against, you probably know that. That's exactly what it sounds like. It's the preferred against. And I do have a version of this in my modding manual, and as you can see, it makes sure when you copy it over, it needs the auto choose and it needs the shared weapon reload time. So as you can see, it has the shared weapon reload time, and this one right here has the shared lock across sets. That is just in case if you have an upgraded version. And as I said right here, as you can see, it's the preferred against. That's the kind of. So it's aircraft, vehicle, infantry, structure, stuff like that. And then additionally, there is a one little bit of code that you need to copy, and that's this guy right here, the lock weapon create module tag. So this will lock the weapon to the, in this case, the primary weapon, and this prevents, it says prevents indeterminate state. Realistically, what it really does is that it makes sure that the um, tank starts with the primary weapon so it knows which one to fire, period. Because it may not fire at all, or it may choose to fire the wrong one. That has happened a few times. And you can just copy this. Make sure it's below the locomotor. Um, so if you search through here, you find the locomotor, engineering parameters is the easy way to find it. There's that kind of that I was referring to earlier. And then if you scroll down, you find the locomotor, and then you can just post it anywhere down below that portion. Um, and just a side note, when you are adding additional weapons, you may come across some issues when it comes to where the way that it's fired from the unit. There is some fixes that you'll have to do sometimes, not all the time, but one of them is controlled weapon set slots. That is the AI update interface module tag. And you just throw primary. It already has primary on there. Most likely, it's just throw secondary and tertiary on there. If it doesn't exist, just throw it on there. Controlled weapon slots equals primary, secondary, tertiary. And again, I'm on the Scud right now, so you can just copy the code from the Scud. In fact, that's actually what I did for testing this to make sure it's okay. And now that you've selected that there is one little tweak, because if you were doing this to an air unit will hang around for some reason. It will act like it still has a payload to drop. And the problem with that is that if you have a payload to drop, it is just going to go and stick there. And if it just sticks there, that's just going to get shot down, and now you just wasted a unit. We don't want to waste units. That's right, we don't want to waste units. And as you can see here, I have my primary, my secondary. That's my shared reload. And if you need to scroll a little bit further down, again, this is jets only. Doesn't worry about it if it's actually a helicopter or anything. Just if it returns to base to reload. That's the most important point here. Right there, change this return to base idle time to like 125 or 250. I found that this fixes that hang up time, and it will return back to the airfield as soon as it drops its load. Giggity. And so that brings us to step 2, the command sets. As you can see, this is my Aurora. I actually just threw on the GLA command set, the GLA Scud command set, because it has the buttons that I was looking for. In this case, it was looking for the command to fire the explosive warhead and the anthrax warhead. These names do not matter. They're just names. They're there to help us with the understanding of which to choose. Realistically, all that these two do is, the first one is a switch weapon command for the primary, and then the second one is a switch weapon command for the secondary. And similarly, you could have a tertiary. Additionally, sometimes units will have a additional one, which is a fire command button. That, as you can see in this particular case for the tractor contaminate ground, it will fire from the secondary slot. You just pay attention to that if you are going to put on a command button. And so, as I was mentioning, so you have your command button switch from the primary to the secondary. It can be unlockable just like the flashbangs are. You put them on the command button set, and then you put it on to the unit. And because this is the air unit, we touched up the idle time, and we have these two lovely choices. And that is all you need to do. And as a proof of concept, alright, so we have our two Auroras.
Avionics online.
Aurora 1.
Discharging munitions. Supersonic aircraft.
Let's go to number
Delivering payload. Yeah, Jaguar. And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, critiques, feel free to leave them in a comment below. And if you have any tutorial ideas, keep in mind you can drop them in the comments below. I also have a Discord, and as you can see, I have a modding manual, and I additionally, if you've been paying attention, I also have a modding tool that I am working on and in alpha mode at the moment. If you would like to use that, feel free to join the Discord. You can find the link in there. I'm going to release it on mod database pretty soon, but I am fixing it up a little bit and getting some more critiques, and I am actually in the ballgame for some translations, so, as I only speak English. So, if that is something you are interested in, feel free to, well, the links are in the description below. See you around.